Well, Netflix, good job. You've made entertainment history once again.
There is a darkness upon the land. A savior is needed.
Who are you?
The man who'll kill Dracula.
So yes, Castlevania, the animated Netflix adaptation of the popular video game series. For those who don't know, plot of the games in the series, it's about Dracula trying to destroy Europe and whoever the heroes of the most recent adventure try to defeat him. In this case, it is the banished vampire hunter Gabriel Belmont, a wizard priestess named Sypha, I can't remember what her last name is, and Dracula's son Alucard, and that's who our heroes are in this story, and it's them trying to defeat Dracula. So let's go into the good and bad of this Castlevania series. Well, the first thing I have to give this show credit for is doing something right that many video game adaptations get really wrong, in which a lot of them are just trying to appease the fan base of the games themselves, and basically will just keep constantly just throwing things at you that the movie going, or in this case TV going audience would not understand and would just feel confusing to them. Like in the Warcraft movie, how it just kept kind of all these different characters and things that, unless you were a fan of World of Warcraft, you would have absolutely no idea what this meant, and it would just become off as really confusing and weird to you. No, in this series does it right, in which there is reference to the game series, mainly with Castlevania 3 and Symphony of the Night, but even if you don't know what they're referencing to, it doesn't matter. You still understand what's going on, like if you don't know what they're referencing. But for those who have played the games, like it is a very it made me smile, like when things are being referenced. Like, for example, like one of the first scenes in the series is you learn why Dracula wants to destroy the world in this show, is because, like in the games, is because his wife was burned at the stakes by humans claiming that she was a witch. And when that scene happens, and then she starts yelling, don't blame them, like, don't hate humanity, it's not their fault, like, and the people in the crowd are saying, who is she talking to? Like, for those who played the games, that's what's going on. Like, it's the scene from Symphony of the Night in which it was the reason why Alucard does not follow his father's example and doesn't want to see the death of humanity. But for those who don't get it, like, they give reference to it later, explaining it so it's not at all confusing. That, or like when you learn that the Belmont that is the main character in this series, Trevor Belmont, is in the game, and then you say, oh wait, he's teaming with Alucard, and then when they say at one point that he has to save a priestess that's gone missing partway through the series. Like when I was just like, oh, it's going to turn out, yes, it turns out to be Sypha, and that was a fun reference. And see, and that's how you do it. Like it's a fun reference for those who played the games, but if you didn't play the games and you didn't know what that was about, you could still follow along just fine with it. It doesn't overshadow what's going on in the scene as you questioning what's going on right now. So I give the show a lot of credit for that. Some other positives I have to give. The characters in the show, both the characters and plot, they're very simple. Like, this is a very simple heroes versus villains storyline, but they're likable. The characters are all very likable. Like, they're very much standard archetypes. Like, Trevor Belmont is like a asshole drunk, but also with a heart of gold kind of guy. Alucard is kind of like is just kind of like the angry, like, pissed off, like, I can't believe I let this happen, while Sypha's kind of like a no-nonsense, like, we've got to save the world right now, you pieces of shit, and it works. They're very simple, but they're likable. Same for Dracula. I say Dracula. Actually, I give the series credit for actually trying to make him semi-sympathetic in this, and the fact that he only wants to destroy humanity after they kill his wife, and before it seems like it just kind of letting it just kind of just existing beforehand. And so yeah, it's simple, but it works. It's simple but likable. It doesn't try to be a big, grand epic. It just tries to be a very simple heroes versus villains storyline. I also want to give credit to the art style. It's very clearly anime inspired. For like, you can really tell whoever did the art direction for this was very inspired by anime, and it worked, and it does really work for the Castlevania series. Like it does lead to it. It does lead to some very enjoyable gothic imagery, and it's also very surprising how bloody this is. This is a very bloody and gruesome show, and it's pretty cool that way. But I was very surprised. I didn't think Netflix would give the okay for a video game adaptation to go that all out, but it works, and. Thank you for Netflix for allowing that, and also know there was some really cool action in this show towards the end. Once again, it's very anime inspired, and it's very well done. It's very well done, the action towards the end. There's a big fight between two characters at the end, and it is a very well done and well executed action scene that was very exciting to watch. So. If you like anime, you'll probably like this a lot. Also, as just a quick side note, I did not expect this, but I actually kind of really got into this. I love the fact that for the most part, Dracula is not the villain in this first season. Like, he's only in the first episode, and besides that, it's only his minions, and they just mention him. But really, the main villain throughout the first season it's kind of surprising, is kind of the Catholic Church for the most part, and I did not expect that. Like, there's like a clear bishop that that's the clear villain this season. Like, and to be fair to this show, it does not it makes it clear. No, it's not like God and Catholics are evil. It's like the corrupted church at this time, and I like that. I think I mainly got the kick out of that because I'm a big JRPG fan. If you don't know this, the Japanese kind of do have problems with the whole idea of the Catholic religion, that that we're all sinners, and that's why, if you've ever been curious, like with most JRPGs, why do I end up killing God at the end of the game? That's why they kind of don't like they kind of have issues with the Catholic Church. So I thought that was a really fun thing for me, the fact that it was kind of the church who was the villain of the first season. So just a side thing, but I really liked it. But don't get me wrong, this is by no stretch of the imagination a perfect series. There is tons of problems with this series. The first big one I have to mention is this show feels cheap for the most part. It's just, like I said, the action at the end of the show, like with like the last episode, is actually pretty good, especially with the last fight scene between two of the characters, but before then, the action, it just feels very cheap. Like, it keeps, like, cutting away during, like, the most exciting moments. Like, it's not very smooth. Like, if you were hoping for something on the levels, like, of Attack on Titan or Sword Art Online, like, that level of anime action, which everything just moves so fluidly and feels great, like, no, this is very jagged and like I said, feels very cheap. But then again, maybe it was because they were just trying to save budget for the action scene for the final episode. Because, like I said, the final fight scene in this season is actually really well done, and it actually does go to like Attack on Titan or Sword Art Online standards. But yeah, beforehand though, it was kind of disappointing just how cheap this action looked. I was wanting to see some really cool like whip and sword fighting action, so that was kind of a bummer. And this is a bit of a weird complaint, but I don't know if this was just me, but I found it hard to hear what the characters are saying sometimes. Like, I don't know if it's an AR issue with, like, music volume to dialogue volume, but that, or if it's just some characters, like, their accents, like, some have accents, like, the character who played, the voice actor Trevor, clearly is trying to have, like, a drunken, like, trying to sound kind of drunk, like, have like a drunken haze to his voice, slurring to his voice during the entire first season, but I don't know what it is though. Like, there were just multiple points I had just no idea what these characters were saying, and maybe that's just me. I don't know. I don't know what caused it, or if anyone else has this issue, but I certainly did. So, but the big problem with this series is it is just so shockingly brief. Like, there's only 4 episodes. They're only about 20 minutes long each, so add that up, it only runs a bit more than 80 minutes long, the entire first season, and really, with that amount of time, there's really not enough time to there's just barely enough time to introduce all the characters. Like, the season ends with, like, the final character being introduced, and, it's kind of, I was literally just, when the credits start to roll at the end of the season, I was like, wait, that's it? Really? Nothing else? That's the entire first season? Like, because yeah, like really it really does. I have heard the argument online. This does feel very much like the prologue chapter. Like, how did like the team unite and how did they get joined to fight a common threat in Dracula? But like, God, it is just over so quickly. Like, there's never really a point like this. Like, really gets into second gear and like really starts getting going. Like, you really start getting invested because it's really just as over as quickly as it began. Like, I could have picked up after like the first episode, like after the second episode started, when like you're only now being introduced to Trevor Belmont and the rest of the main characters haven't shown up. I was like, okay, clearly this season does not end with a giant all-out fight between our heroes and Dracula. But even then, like, I expected more than this. This is just. It's just over so quick. I was, like I said, I was just sitting there like, really? Like, yeah, like, so just know that, like, if you're on the fence about watching this because you don't want to get too invested, like, with a new show, I'd say, well, might as well watch this. It's over as quickly as it starts, so if you don't like it, you're not losing that much. But for those who are really hoping to, like, really get into this world, like, it's just sad because at the moment I was really trying to get into this world and these characters, it ends. And I was just like, wow, that's it. And yep, that's it. So just know that it's a very brief experience, so it doesn't leave that big of an impact on you. So, just to summarize my thoughts on the first season of Castlevania, it is the first thing I've ever seen that properly adapts a video game. The characters are likable, and there's some very enjoyable imagery and action. As far as negatives goes, it feels cheap, some ADR issues, and it's just such a brief experience, and that's why I'm going to give the first season Castlevania a very solid 6 out of 10. I like it. It's decent. It's a good time. I enjoyed it from beginning to end, but like I said, with that such a brief running time, there's not much time to get that invested in it. But good job, Netflix. Good job. You have successfully made the first good video game adaptation. Well done. You have made history. You would deserve an applause for that. And I have heard this theory. I have heard, because there's only 4 episodes and because of the relative cheapness feel to it, I have heard that a lot of people are suggesting this was very much a calculated risk for Netflix. That's why that they didn't put much money behind this, just in case if no one watched it, or if it just there truly was no way to make a good video game like a show, they would just be able to drop it and not lose that much. Like, and that's why, with the first season being the success that it is, they've already they renewed the day it came out for a season 2 with twice as many episodes. So I'm gonna say to you, Netflix, is yes, double the episodes, put more money behind the animation budget, and you could have something truly great here. You could truly have a really enjoyable gothic action adventure show right on your hands. As it sits, perfectly decent. I like it. Like I said, first good video game adaptation, and well done, Netflix. Good job. Yeah. You too, as always, please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye.